a toddler dying from exposure to fentanyl at a daycare centre. This week, a third person has been arrested in conjunction with the death of the boy. The drugs were found hidden below the floorboards near where that boy and several other children had been sleeping. Well, covering this story for us from New York is our correspondent, Jessica Mazaria. She's with me now. Jessica, this is a tragic story. Give us a sense of what reaction's been like in the neighbourhood.
Well, since that little boy, Nicholas Dominici, who was just 1 year old, died from being exposed to fentanyl, people here have just been feeling shocked and extremely sad, and they have a lot of questions. I'm standing right in front of the Divino Nino daycare centre, which is on Morris Avenue in the Bronx. This is a really poor area. People here have to work several jobs to get by, and several people in this area sent their children to this daycare centre, and they just didn't expect something like that to happen. I spoke to a woman here who lives in this building earlier on who said that she'd been looking at sending her 4-year-old to that daycare centre and that she's really glad that she didn't. People just can't believe how anyone could have been that callous as to hide drugs, such dangerous drugs, which just a small dose of fentanyl could kill a child in a daycare centre. And more to the point, another local told me that city inspectors had come just the week prior to this little boy's death, and they had inspected the daycare centre and found absolutely nothing wrong. So people here really feel like the system is failing them. They say that they have seen a real increase in people who have been using opioids in this area in the last 4 to 5 years, and that they're extremely worried about the opioid crisis which is hitting America.
Indeed, and we do know, Jessica, that fentanyl kills something like 70,000 Americans every year. It's now the leading cause of deaths among Americans under the age of 45. So this really is a public health crisis, isn't it?
It is. I think it's now fast becoming the biggest public health crisis in the United States. More than 3,200 people died in 2022 from opioid overdoses, most of them fentanyl overdoses here in New York City. The numbers just keep on going up, and areas like this are feeling it really acutely. And this is perhaps the worst example yet we have of how this crisis is impacting the community. In this area, you can see people who've clearly been taking fentanyl in the streets. It is ever present. And what they're saying is that this fourth wave of the fentanyl crisis is affecting absolutely everybody. Nobody's really safe. This is a drug that is prescribed by doctors, but you can also get the drug. It's also been coming in illegally via Mexico, mixed with chemicals that come from China, apparently. And this is becoming a big drug racket here. And what police believe was happening here in this daycare centre is that a fentanyl operation was being run out of the centre. Now, this fourth wave involves fentanyl being cut with other drugs. And in the case of this daycare centre, it was also being cut with baby powder.
Jessica Mazaria, thank you very much indeed for your reporting. Jessica there